Well, hello. So today we're going to do a video on bullying, evil speech, and teachers who bully, and my own personal stories, so that you can get a grip on understanding where I'm coming from. So let's get started. Back in the day when I was in Peru and I was 7, 8, and I was coming here to the United States, I had a teacher. We did not get along. I went to a somewhat religious school, and they once asked me where I wanted to go when I died, and I said I wanted to go to hell because I believed that if I gave the devil a hug, the devil would become good. Now, years later, I understood the beautiful element of that teaching, which to me means that the devil is within you. It's always within us, and it's when we change ourselves is that when we snuff out the darkness. So that's it's a beautiful secret that I knew back in the day, but they didn't think that they thought I was they didn't know about me, so they were checking the back of my skull for numbers. uh, and basically, well, they weren't, but the teacher changed my grade. And because the teachers move up with you, and this teacher was like, nope, it's almost like a parent, like a little mom. It was like, nope, I'm giving you up for adoption. You're staying back in grade because I cannot have you move up with me. And my mother found out, the school found out, my mother brought it, but I was coming to the United States. So my mother was like, excuse me? uh and especially because it's a paid school. Like, so, but we were coming here, so bye Felicia. So it didn't really matter. So who cares? We came here, and I was in, I think, seventh grade, eighth grade, seventh, eighth grade. I had this one particular teacher, and she pulled me out of class, and she would call me Gargamel, and she said that I looked like the Count from Sesame Street. She one time she I was questioning my sexuality. There was, I mean, kids knew, like, what is he? What is he gay? Is he what? I'm confused. So, and she was a lesbian, so she would play off that energy. She was a closeted lesbian, so she wasn't. I don't know what I was to her, whether I was her lab rat or what the situation was. But she pulled me out of. I was dating this girl, and she pulled me out of class in order to ask her out to the dance. Now I was humiliated. She gave me a Reese's candy. Everybody laughed, and it was just like, ha ha ha. And the girl, of course, broke up with me like shortly after my less than 24-hour relationship. I think it started the day before. It was 24 hours. It started after school, and then it lasted 24 hours, and then it was done. Thank you, math teacher. I'm not going to mention these people's names because it's just not nice. But it's a learning experience. Um, then I had a teacher who yelled at me because he got misinformation about something, and before he even allowed me to explain, I'm sure he was being stressed out about other elements in his life. He just snapped at me in front of other people. And to me, if you yell at me in private, I have an issue with it, but I definitely don't have as much an issue with it if you yell at me in front of a bunch of people, because that's humiliating. That's just insulting and humiliating, and that just triggers me at a specific core. So I don't, any human being, and it hinders our growth as human beings. It shells us. It shells us, and it creates our shell. Like, I was just hurt, so you shell up. You become defensive, and for some people, defensive is offensive. So, but some people know how to play offensive and defensive. So and then most recently, and those I you know and these people, what happens is when they do these kind of things, they just close themselves to whatever blessings I may give them. They just do, because I write them off. I just don't. And I'm Aquarius. I'm very lenient with my blessings. I'm also very sensitive. I understand that about myself. um, but at the root core, I know who I am. So I do understand the value of who I am and why I'm here. So I don't need people to hinder that process. So, and if they do, they're not just facing me. So that's a whole different other story. But so what do I do in my situation? What do you do if something like this? And most recently, I had a situation where one individual just went after me, like several. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is with this individual. I have a relationship with this is the individual is not even my teacher. They're a teacher, but they're not my teacher. And I have a relationship with my teacher, and I created a study, and I did this in relationship with my teacher. I don't understand, and I'm a college student. I don't understand why this other person is having to say anything at all. But in the process, I've been badmouthed by this other person because of it. So yeah, and that's and that's really sad. But the interesting thing about bad mouthing, and this is where we'll transition, is that bad mouthing is a poison that people use. Like, for instance, right? When people talk a lot about a lot of people, they may say, "Oh, so and so has cancer." Now by just saying that word, you're manifesting that into reality by spreading that particular, whether that's true or whether that's not. Or the person may have gone in and just had a regular like checkup and they don't know whether they found it. But you know how the telephone thing works and it's transformed. So people are starting to ripple and create realities based on whatever consciousness was placed on that particular frequency. And depending on, now, me personally, the way I keep myself protected is by casting a mirror spell. So whatever so that people really need to be careful whatever they're rippling about about me or anybody in general. But I personally have cast a mirror spell, so whatever would do. I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever. That it was coded. Everything throughout history, it's been coded because these secrets of magic have been coded. Do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. So, but there's a specific kind of thing. Also, there's a numerical thing that you can do. So yeah, so don't, because it's just you're making your own life very more. The more darkness you try to send, the more darkness it is that you will be receiving. So I'm actually sending you love, and I'm doing this in order to help you learn that that's how the world functions, and you can't be doing this to human beings because and this particularly goes out to that person saying that I've seen you do it with other people, and it I'm actually like I'm very patient and very merciful, but you don't know what degrees of people are willing to do what and what actions they may take when they are humiliated in public and when they are belittled and when people talk badly about them. So you don't know. So here's the other thing element about talking badly about people is that when you have that loose talk, when you talk badly about people, maybe you think you're talking good about people, but you're also, whenever you talk about a project, you're taking away its energy. You're sucking away its energy. So you're also, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Sometimes you may say something that you may think is really nice, but in reality, you're actually hurting that person. Or you may be revealing information that you weren't supposed to reveal in the first place that can jeopardize people's jobs, or jeopardize people's health, or jeopardize people's anything. So I think that that's where you really need to, where we as a humanity really need to pause and stop talking evil about others, because we have that inner built mirror shell that reverts back and forth, but also some people know how to, and if you want to learn, I can teach you how to be like, hey, here's the mirror, you know? So what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And send love. That's why at every time I finish the video, I say, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful year. Take care.